Yeah. I'd like to welcome everybody to my podcast. I am your gracious host, Jupiter 9. And in this podcast, I want to talk about restaurant life, man, because I line cooked, short order, whatever you want to call it, for 15 years plus. And what made me inspired to do this show was the fact that one of my favorite shows, man, when I do watch TV is Bar Rescue, man. And the guy John Taffer, I think his name is. This guy, he goes around and he, restores restaurants that are in distress. A lot of times these owners are incapable mentally to run a business, and a lot of times I don't understand why they're even in the business, the restaurant business or any type of business, because they have no clue on how to run a business. Sometimes it's just that they ran out of funds, and then they kind of just like gave up on the business. So it's not always a situation where these owners just neglect their business on purpose. Sometimes it is. Sometimes it's these people, men and women who own these restaurants, and they neglect it, and they just don't know how to run a business. They don't know how to, be a leader, to the employees. And that's what employees look for when they go work a 9 to 5 for somebody who can lead them to, greatness in their job. And a lot of people can't do that. They don't know how to lead. They nag rather than lead. And some of these owners have issues with alcohol. So, they're alcoholics, and they turn around and open up a restaurant so they can just drink all day and be social, and just be alcoholics on their dime. So, John Taffer, he comes in and he spaz out on these people at first. I'm saying? It's hilarious. I think that's what makes the show popular, because he comes in and he just, spaz on them first, kind of like break them down mentally, and then build them back up towards the end, sort of like what they do in the military. That's the whole aspect of the military, is to break you down mentally and then build you back up. That's what they do in the military. I've never been in the military and nothing like that, but I got relatives who served in the military. I got uncles who served in the military and Iraq War and all that, and that's what they do. That's what he does. And it kind of brings me back to my days in working in restaurants. Let me tell you something, man. Restaurant work is some of the hardest work mentally, man. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you have to be very mentally tough in order to work in restaurants and deal with the pressures of getting the food out in time, on time, and, dealing with waitresses who don't know their job, and, dealing with customers who complain all the time. No matter if the plate is perfect, they still gonna complain. It's a lot of stuff you have to deal with. Underpaid. Restaurant work, you will be underpaid, definitely. You're not paid for what you can do. Like my last job, in restaurants, I was underpaid. I short order cooked, and I did dishes on some nights. So, and I was way underpaid. I was the type of cat who took my job seriously. You pay me to do something, I'm gonna do it to the best of my ability. And when it came to cooking, I was the fastest. I was I think I was the best. I'm not trying to toot my own horn, but I'm making an extra, $100, $150 a week just on people tipping me on my plates and how fast I was at my job. You know what I'm saying? Other cooks didn't get that. Customers would tell me that they will only come in when I worked. Because when they come in any other time, the food was terrible. I used to come up with like homemade specials and quick homemade specials for the night. I worked the overnights, and the place, working in restaurants, man, you're going to deal with a lot of people who don't do their job. You're going to deal with people who, you're going to deal with a lot of convicts. I'm gonna just keep it all the way funky. Like, you're gonna deal with a lot of convicts, people who can't get work nowhere else, so they get into restaurant work. My sister's husband, he had a record, so I told him to get into restaurant work because they'll hire anybody. Straight up, they'll hire anybody. I mean, anybody can get a job in restaurant work. If you can't get a job and you got like felonies and all that, go into restaurant work. They'll hire you. Always looking for cooks. Always looking for help. Always, because the turnover is so much turnover. I can't tell you how many cooks I worked with, how many idiot cooks I worked with. I mean, cats who came in with culinary certificates and all this old fancy stuff, and a cooking coat, and they looking fly, and, they're ready to, and couldn't even handle one little rush. I mean, they couldn't cook. You know what I'm saying? See, people don't understand. Short order cooking is different from 5-star, you know what I'm saying? All that little fancy stuff. And I worked in 5-star too as well for a hot minute as well. I didn't like working in 5-star because of the way the head chef would just yell at you if you don't get the food out fast enough. I'm not with all that. You're not gonna be yelling at me crazy, you know what I'm saying? There's gonna be none of that, you know what I mean? So because the last time I worked in a 5-star restaurant and we almost got into a fight, he was yelling at me like I was his kid, and I was older than him, and I had way more experience than him. So, man, we almost got into it. I'm not going to make a long story short. I quit. I left. You know what I'm saying? Because at the time I was working 2 jobs. I did also 2 armed security. So I told him to take that job and shove it. I got another one. Take that job and shove it. Now, this is before the internet and social media and content creating and all this fly stuff that's going on now, where you can just make money in all types of ways. Like, this is before all that. This is when you had to have a 9-to-5 or a brick and mortar business. You know what I'm saying? So restaurant life can be hell, man. But I handled it. I did it to the best of my ability. Like I said, the waitresses used to love working with me because I was fast as hell. I would get plates out in 2 minutes at times, and I didn't mess around. Like, I was very, very I didn't like serving people crap. If you paid for a plate, I tried to make it to the best of my ability. I mean, people spend their hard-earned money, working 40, 50, 60 hours a week, and coming to a restaurant, no matter what type of restaurant it is, even if it's a truck stop or whatever, it didn't matter to me. I tried to make the plates nice. I tried to make the food delicious to the best of my ability, what I had to work with, and that's why, people loved coming in when I worked, you know what I'm saying? And a lot of people were shocked that I got fired for no reason. Like, my boss let me go. It was a reason to him, but it wasn't no reason to fire me. Like, he didn't like the fact that I no longer wanted to work the weekends, and I didn't want to work extra hours. You know what I'm saying? I'm not obligated to work weekends and extra hours. You know what I'm saying? And he sent me a text and said it's not fair to the other guys for you not to work weekends. Well, yes, it is when the other guys are not doing their job, because see, every shift is supposed to fill up for the next shift. And me working the overnights, people think I didn't have nothing to do. Well, I did have a lot to do. What I had to do was do everybody's job who didn't do their job on second shift. So I had to fill up all their stuff. I would come in, everything would be empty, The important things when you come in, especially on the overnight, is like you want to have things prepared, like bacon and stuff like that, pre-cooked bacon and stuff like that, because those are things you're gonna need for bacon sells. A lot of bacon sells. So every time I would come in, man, I would be empty. It would be a few times where stuff would be stocked up, but 9 times out of 10 they weren't stocking for me. You know what I'm saying? So got fed up and say, hey, take me off the weekends. I only want to work 3 days. You know what I'm saying? What I was going to do is try to find another situation, and this is before I got back into the internet thing. You know what I'm saying? The internet. And this is around the time I started getting back into it, but slowly but surely. But back then I didn't have the time to really get into it because I was working so much, Then I started cutting back my hours, and then I he let me go. Then I got unemployment, which is, another thing too. A lot of these bosses, they'll lie so you can't get an unemployment. He was one of those type of bosses. Like, he would lie, make up stuff. But the thing is, I give him the ill setup. I would never talk to him on the phone. I would always text him. So whatever he texts me, I always would save it. So when he sent me that message saying he was going to fire me, I saved that. So I have it when unemployment will call me for an interview and see what happened. They call you for an interview to see if you get approved for unemployment. So I had all that information. She was like, well, send me the text that he sent you. I said, because she asked me if I still had him. I was like, yeah, I still got him. So he couldn't lie. He couldn't lie this time and say that I just walked out, because he was trying to say I just walked out, and I didn't just walk out. I told him I had to catch a bus at a certain time. If I missed this bus, then I would have to sit there for an extra almost 2 hours. And I told him, and I used to tell the waitress, the head waitress, that, I gotta leave, which was okay with her because she said she can cover it until somebody came in. And that too, a lot of times people come in late, you know what I'm saying? And there's no repercussions for that, people coming in late. And, restaurant work is a headache, man. It really is. Not unless you working in a spot that's, on point. Most restaurant work it's just a headache, man. It's just a headache, man. The stuff I've seen working in restaurants, I mean, I've seen waitresses, come in doped up on heroin. Of course, she was eventually fired, but it took them like weeks to fire her. Like, she'd come in all high as hell, and I've seen all types of waitresses doing cartwheels in the middle of the restaurants. I mean, I've seen a lot of stuff, man. I've seen a lot of stuff in restaurant work. I remember the first day I worked at the truck stop, man. The first day I worked at that truck stop, man. This guy came in. He was, I don't know if he was drunk or what, but the first day, no, this was actually months. This was actually months after I was working. This guy came in, and he seemed to be drunk because his pants was hanging off, like down his ankle, right? And I'm looking out the cook window, because we had an open kitchen, so you can see, like, on the side of you, on the right side of you, you can see like the whole restaurant. You can see people coming in. So, we didn't have it like a blocked off kitchen, so everything was open, right next to the dining room. So I'm looking, and I see this dude walk in, and he seemed to be drunk because he was staggering, and his pants were hanging off of him. You know what I'm saying? And so anyway, so he sits down. He didn't eat anything. I think he just had some water or some coffee or something like that. And make a long story short, he sat there for like 45 minutes, an hour, just drinking coffee. And when he got up, there was a streak of like, it was like a streak of crap on the booth that he had left. Like, I don't know if he crapped his pants or what. I'm like, you know what? This is going to be some interesting stuff working here, because already I've seen some wild stuff. People leave their underwear in the showers because, being a truck stop, it has showers. You know what I'm saying? So people leave their underwear in the shower with crap in them, and man, it's just disgusting, man. I'm glad I wasn't the waitress that had to clean that up. You know what I'm saying? The one thing he did do was he did clean up the situation with the prostitutes. He did clean that up. You know what I'm saying? It was real bad when I first got there. When I first got there, it was horrible, man. You know what I'm saying? It was horrible. I'm like, man, this is crazy. You know what I'm saying? But continue to the show Bar Rescue, and also too the conditions of these places, these restaurants. You know, a lot of these restaurants shouldn't even be serving food to people, man. I mean, these places be disgusting. I mean, these places haven't been cleaned in years. I mean, you watch this show, you would not want to go out to eat. I swear to you, you would not want to go out to eat after you watch this show. I mean, it just brought back memories of certain places I worked, and you know, there's only so much cleaning you can do by yourself. You know what I'm saying? And they're not the cleanest. They may look clean, but you go in that back, you'll be surprised and how people contaminate things, you know, cross-contamination, people not wearing gloves, like stuff like that, man. You know what I'm saying? People don't wash their hands. People were coughing in their hands. It's just a whole bunch of stuff that make you not want to go out to eat anymore, man. But it's a beautiful show because it'll show you how to run. Because John Taffer, he comes in and he shows people each episode. He, besides all the screaming and the spazzing out on people and all that, he shows people how to actually properly run a restaurant. You know what I'm saying? The guy's been doing it for over 30 years. You know what I'm saying? He's has successful restaurants, still continues to run successful restaurants. You know what I'm saying? So he knows what he's doing. He knows what he's talking about. He's got it down to an actual science on how to properly run not only restaurants but like clubs, you know what I'm saying, all types of like social gathering type places, you know, clubs, restaurants, what else, yeah, that's pretty much it. So he basically goes in and he has a team of I guess you say construction workers that goes in and restores the issues in these restaurants. A lot of times he's spending over $100,000 just repairing the floors. Like, you know, these restaurants be in bad shape because these owners, you know, just let them go down the tubes. And, you know, with the owners not caring, you know, you are who your owner, who your manager is, who your owner is. Like, if your manager don't care, you're not gonna care. Like, you know what I'm saying? And, you know, you got a manager who lacks on stuff, you're gonna lack on stuff. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? You're not gonna do your job as far as cleaning wise to the best of your ability because your owner is not gonna really say anything too much. And you know, it's all on the manager. You know, that's why you got to have a strong manager and in the restaurant business and an owner who gives a crap. You know what I'm saying? If your owner don't give a crap, 9 times out of 10, your manager is not going to give a crap. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, the pay is horrible. Like, you know, I worked at the Cracker Barrel as well for a little bit, and the pay was horrible. You know, just paying $9 an hour. That place was busy. I don't know what. That's like one of the busiest places I ever worked at, the Cracker Barrel, man. I mean, if you're making $10,000 just in one morning shift, $10,000. I mean, we had 2 grills, 5 cooks on the line, and still didn't have enough people to keep up with the orders. I mean, you had a dipper on one side that was dipping out the vegetables and all that, and then you had the guys who worked the grill. You had 2 people at a grill. You had a hot box. You didn't have no microwaves. That's the thing about Cracker Barrel. They don't have microwaves. They had a hot box, you know, to keep all the food hot. Everything's made homemade. Place is just busy. I mean, every day I went in, it was busy. Every day. There wasn't no time that no shift that I worked at, it wasn't busy, man. And they were paying something crazy, like $9. That made me that's the reason why I went to the truck stop, because of the pay at Cracker Barrel. I was surprised. I thought I was gonna be making more there, you know? Then I worked at the Greek restaurant for a little while. Yeah, Greeks, they overwork you, man. You know what I'm saying? They overwork you. And worked there for like 7 years. I was younger back then. I was in my early teens and 20s when I worked for the Greeks and all that. You know what I'm saying? But that's how they are, man. But they taught me how to properly keep a kitchen clean, the way they run things. You know what I'm saying? One thing about Greeks, you work hard, they pay you. You know, they'll pay you. They'll give you something on the side, extra. They'll look out. You know, but my overall experience in cooking, like, you know, as I got older and mentally couldn't do it no more with the I can physically still do it, but mentally I just couldn't do it no more. I didn't want to do it no more. You know what I'm saying? Just had enough of the, you know, the lack of good cooks coming in, the lack of people not doing their job, the lack of, you know, people not wanting to clean. You know, I try to keep my kitchen clean as I don't know what. You know what I'm saying? Because, you know, you can easily cross-contaminate and make somebody sick. And a lot of people don't care. You know, that's why one of the reasons why I don't really like going out eating all like that. You know what I'm saying? Because I know what people be doing, and I know that people don't be keeping stuff clean. A lot of people just come in for a check, and it's just like, you know, that's why I don't like eating out too much, man. You know what I'm saying? Because I've seen it all. Some stuff I won't say on this podcast that I've seen that'll really make you not want to go out and eat, man. Word up, man. But, you know, it's a great show, man. You guys should check it out. It's called Bar Rescue. It comes on what's that the channel on Fire Stick? Pluto. I don't know if you can get Pluto on your phone. I think you can. It's the Bar Rescue channel, and it comes on Sundays. New shows. He got new shows coming on now. Sundays at 10. He stopped making the show, and they just revamped the show. Restarted the show back up, and it comes on Sundays at 10. But you guys should watch it, man. It's a great way to see how you should do things properly. If you're trying to open up a restaurant or a club or anything like that, what you need to be doing, what type of things you need to stay on top on, and how you should be running your business, and how you should be running your employees, you know, so you can get the best out of them and the best out of the profits you make. You know what I'm saying? Because if you're not making profits, you're not going to stay open, you know. And another thing too, a lot of these owners treat their employees like family, and that's the wrong thing to do. Or they hire family. That's probably another wrong thing to do in business, because people can't understand business and family. Like, they think it's joint, and that's not the case. Business is business, and family is family. Those two things are separate, and a lot of times people can't separate the two. You know, so they get into situations where, you know, a family member or two is not doing their job, and they won't fire them because of their family. And I don't have a problem firing family. You're not doing your job, man, because business is business. Like, if you don't do your job, you're doing your job improperly, you costing me money, and you costing me my business. So, you know, I love you, you family, but you're not doing your job, I gotta fire you, period. I don't care, family or not. You're not doing your job, you got to go, family or not. Like, this is no, you know, kumbaya, no, you know what I'm saying? This is business. Business, you know what I'm saying, is totally separate from friendship, totally separate from family. And, you know, if you hire somebody to do a job, family, friend or not, they don't do that job, then they gotta go, period. So that's the way I see it, man. But restaurant life is, you know, it's interesting. That's all I'm gonna say. It is interesting. And if you work in restaurants, you know what I'm saying. I'm talking about this stuff because, like I said, I did this for 15 plus years, maybe more. I don't know. But it went by so fast, you know. I learned a lot. You know what I'm saying? I learned a lot. Yeah, I learned a lot, you know. But I enjoy cooking. I still cook, but just not in that manner anymore. So, you know. But yeah, I just wanted to touch on that, man. Again, the name of that show is Bar Rescue, and it comes on at 10 p.m. on Sundays. New shows. They run shows all through the day, you know, but it's a really good show, guys. You should check it out. But that's my take in this podcast episode. I'd like to thank everybody for tuning in and listening. Please share this with everybody. You know what I'm saying? Help my podcast grow. But I'm your gracious host, Jupiter 9, and I want to say peace and love to everybody. Take care. One.